from the creator of the award-winning Remarkable Results Radio podcast. Now, listen to a slice of wisdom, a concept, a sentiment, a theory, and maybe even a rant from one of your industry colleagues. For the record.
Welcome, aftermarket professionals, to For the Record. Carm Capriato here from Remarkable Results Radio and the Town Hall Academy. Welcome to episode number 3, as For the Record brings you personal insights from your industry's colleagues. It's a short, yet focused opportunity for a rant, a riff, an opinion, maybe a pet peeve or a perspective that may just align your thinking in a new way. Here in episode 3 is Chris Cloutier, partner with his brother in Golden Rule Auto Care, now with their second location, and also CEO of Autotex.me. Chris has been a great contributor to the Remarkable Results Radio podcast, and he shares his biggest pet peeves on the power of leadership, training, and embracing technology. The views and opinions expressed are those of my guest and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the author, sponsors, associates, or affiliates of LSTN Media, LLC. For the Record is sponsored by Remarkable Results Radio, the aftermarket's premier podcast and think tank, where the stories and lessons empower you. Find the talking points for Chris's rant and a link to his previous episodes at remarkableresults.biz/F003. Yes, another show in the great Remarkable Results Radio content library. Now, here's Chris Cloutier for the Record.
All right, Carm, I just want everybody out there to know that we are leaders. We are owners. And I'm getting a little frustrated with the fact that we don't feel that we're leaders and owners. We don't say that we're leaders and owners. What we have a tendency to do is point the finger at somebody else, and I think we need to turn that finger right back around on ourselves. I just read this book, Extreme Ownership, and it's given me a new insight into ownership, right? We are owners. We're not blamers. And I think that's a great way to look at it. When we sit there and we blame our other people in our shop for things that don't get done, we need to once again point that finger back at ourselves and realize that we're the ones to make the change in our shops. I'm going to give you a perfect example, Carm. We just purchased this second shop. This shop's been in business for the last 15 years with the same owner. I drive into the shop. I see 3 huge potholes out in this parking lot. Huge potholes, the size of humans. And I asked that owner, "You going to fix these potholes? Why haven't you fixed these potholes?" And he said, "Well, actually, those potholes and land that they're on, I don't own that. And actually, when you buy this shop, you're not going to own that." And I said, "Okay, who owns it?" "Well, I've asked him, but he won't fix it. But the city's going to fix it." And I said, "Well, how long have you been asking the city to fix it?" "Oh, for about 4 years now." "They're not going to fix it." You know what I did the first day, Carm, that I went in and bought that shop? I fixed the parking lot. I spent $800 in blacktop patching a parking lot that I didn't own, because when people drive through that parking lot, guess what they're going to think? I own it. Just because I don't own that parking lot doesn't mean I don't own that situation of that customer coming in. And I'll tell you another thing. Owning, I hear this a lot. We need our guys to train. We are in a dire situation of getting our techs trained up. We have to train them internally. Once again, everybody's getting frustrated at the fact that their techs aren't training. Point that finger back around at yourself and ask yourself, how much are you training? Are you spending 40, 60, 80 hours a year training to learn new things, to learn the new digital landscape, to learn about the new cars coming out? You need to be the leader. You need to own this stuff. And when you do, guess what will happen? Your people will follow. If you're doing 80 hours of training and you request them to do 20 hours of training, they will do 20 hours of training. And if they ask, "Why do I have to do 20? You know what I tell them? I do 120. I'm asking a fraction because I'm owning the situation. So in talking about leadership and ownership, I also want to talk about embracing change, because I think that we need to understand as owners and leaders, there's things that we have to embrace. And I specifically want to say embracing technology and the change of technology. Carm, you and I both know that technology is not going away. It is here to stay. And we need to understand that as, once again, owners, that we need to adopt that technology and continue down that technological path. Something as simple as digital inspections, tablets in the bays. You don't think it's a big deal. You think, no, my guys can continue to use this piece of paper in their bays and they're getting their job done. But what you're having to try and do is change their mindset for this new technological evolution. The car is evolving. We're going to start seeing these computers in the next 4 or 5 years in our bays. Why don't we get our guys with tablets, using digital inspections, looking up identifix on tablets, and get them into the mindset of this digital world that now exists? And that's really what we're doing, is we're preparing our people for the future. If you continue to allow them to live in this analog world with paper, they're going to have a harder transition in diagnosing these computers. If they're already on computers, they're already on tablets, they're going to be much more comfortable with these new cars that come in. And you, as far as the leader or the owner, don't sit there and complain that your guys won't adopt this digital inspection or adopt this new workflow. You need to be the example. Why don't you get out in the bays with the tablet? And why don't you take pictures of a car? And why don't you text your customer? And why don't you set the example and own the process that you want your guys to implement? And I'll give you another perfect example of this, Carm. I had a final quality control process I wanted to bring into Golden Rule. This was 6 years ago. Now, this isn't a digital process, but there are digital processes that go along with it to count and to fill out that digital checkout sheet. I brought this into my shop. I gave it to my manager. I said, I want this done. Weeks passed. I'd get 1 or 2 here, and I said, this is unacceptable. He went on vacation for a week. I took 2 solid days and QC'd cars. Every car that came out of my shop, I QC'd, and the results were mind-numbing, jaw-dropping results. 60-70% of the cars that walked out of my bays had issues. Now I was able to take that back to my team and say, is this the golden rule? Is this the standard we live by? And they said, absolutely not. So I owned that process. I took charge of that process. I went out on those cars and I made that process work. I showed my team that the process does work. And then I held them accountable after showing them that there's a possibility to do this to drive the change in our organization. So when it comes to technology, shop owners realize it's not going away. You have to prepare your technicians for the future. And by embracing the technology, the digital inspection sheet, the digital workflow, the things that matter now that are simple, in my opinion, to adopt, it's going to prepare you for a very complex future. These cars, once again, are not getting simple. They're getting way more complex. And the sooner you decide to adopt technology as a leader and as an owner, the sooner your people will feel much more confident in taking these new challenges with these new cars. That's my For the Record.
Thanks for listening to For the Record from Remarkable Results Radio. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast listening app. Find all Remarkable Results podcast content at remarkableresults.biz.